Businesses struggling to pay their power and gas bills. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee. Let's have a look at this article from ABC, which is discussing businesses that are struggling to pay their electricity and gas bills after the recession. Now, we all know there's been some government intervention. I may have mentioned it once or twice. JobKeeper has come to an end, everyone. Now, it's part of, well, what the government was doing to keep zombie companies alive, everyone. Number one, the one that really scared me was trading while insolvent. External administrations are half for companies, and they're starting to creep back up. And then you've got JobKeeper as well. Now, if we have a look here at the numbers, this is the October figures. 175,000 in Queensland, 323 in New South Wales, 289 in Victoria. But when you look at that as a proportion of the people employed, a percentage of the people employed in each state, Victoria is nearly 9%, 8.76, guys. A large number of people and businesses were dependent on JobKeeper. Some would have needed it, some wouldn't have. But you've got to remember, all of this government money doesn't come without a price or without a cost. So businesses struggling for power and gas, or to pay for their power and gas. Let's have a look at this article by the ABC. Electricity and gas bills rack up for consumers after the COVID recession hit. Now JobKeeper's done, Melbourne cafe owner Hamed Alahira is worried. Some days are better than others, but overall, his takings are down by about half compared to life before the pandemic, or before the recession, everyone. This is a recession that was caused by government interventions into the economy to mitigate the spread of this illness. We have to understand that. If I don't have JobKeeper, how do I pay rent? How do I pay my expenses? Well, you're going to have to negotiate lower rates. You're going to have to reduce your costs, mate. That's the sad thing that's going to happen. Don't complain about the end of JobKeeper. Complain about the Andrews government implementing such strict restrictions that didn't allow you to even run your cafe. One of his biggest expenses is gas and electricity, and the bills are piling up. Well, gas should be pretty cheap in Victoria. There's a lot of it in the Bass Strait. How's that exploration going? And what about electricity? How's that manufactured in Victoria? I wonder. You know what? Let's have a look. Let's have a look right now at the energy market in Victoria. And we'll jump here and we can see, well, there you go. Most of it is produced by wind power. None of it, hardly any of it, running over 30% capacity. Most of it at night time, good old fossil fuels. These guys are always running over 100%. So perhaps there's a reason why these prices are so high. But anyway, that's for another video. He is one of about 150,000 people in debt to their gas and electricity provider. Since March last year, small business debt to energy retailers has increased by 22% and residential debts by 32%. Total debt owed is around $200 million. The Australian Energy Council, which represents 12 energy retailers, expects those numbers to get worse. Its CEO, Sarah McNamara, said retail energy businesses have shouldered their fair share of the economic burden throughout the pandemic. We're anticipating we will see more higher bad debts, more consumers or customers in hardship programs, she said. The number of disconnections has increased. A directive from regulators to halt electricity and gas disconnections in April last year resulted in 0 disconnections without a customer's consent until August, according to the Australian Energy Regulator. In November, regulators weakened the protections and issued a statement of expectations, which allows energy businesses to disconnect customers whom they could not contact and small businesses that had not arranged a payment plan. From August to March this year, 10,000 customers across New South Wales, Queensland, South Australia, Tasmania and the Territories were cut off from power. In Victoria, which regulates its own market, there were 2,300 in March alone, West Australian regulators does not have updated figures on disconnections. Over 10,000 disconnections, everyone. Regulators urge caution. Remaining customer protections, which have slowed the pace of gas and electricity disconnections, end in June. Gerard Brody from the Consumer Action Law Centre is worried. When someone is disconnected, that means they lose the food in their freezer. That means they go without sometimes hot water and cooking. That means they have trouble getting their kids to school, he explained. Mr. Brody said the data shows some energy businesses have already not been listening to the regulators and called for more compliance and enforcement action. Regulators have been very clear with its expectations, but that is a different thing from having rights under the law, he argued. Well, this is the issue, guys. When you make these costs more expensive, when you limit the ability of businesses to trade, this is what's going to happen. Don't be angry at the power companies. Be angry at Andrews, at least. Kate Simmons from the... And we've just had a recession, guys. The ramifications of that are going to filter through the economy for some time. Kate Simmons from the Victorian regulator, the Essential Services Commission, said she's keeping a close eye on businesses in that state. You're entitled to a range of assistance, and energy retailers must work with you to manage your energy debt, she said. In February, Australian Energy Council member Alinta Energy was forced to pay $1.25 million in fines after the ESC found the company caused distress to vulnerable customers before the pandemic in October 2019 to March 2020. The regulator found Alinta was putting hurdles in front of customers asking for assistance, including making them provide financial information before agreeing to set up payment plans, with several customers reporting experiencing bad thoughts as a result. If we see those energy rules not being followed, we won't hesitate to hold those companies to account, she said. Energy retailers call for an end of additional protections. The Australian Energy Council CEO, Sarah McNamara, said energy retailers have been working with customers during the pandemic. Our desire, though, is to see that statement of expectation stop being required from June 30 as we move past the COVID pandemic and into the next phase of recovery, she said. Ms. McNamara has also suggested for easing the debt burden carried by energy retailers. What retailers would like to see is that the actual cost of managing these kinds of risks are reflected in the regulated price caps that are calculated by the default market offer and the Victorian market offer, she said. What does Haim think about potentially paying more for his electricity? He shook his head and offered a bewildered smile. I don't know, to be honest. He's already on a payment plan with his energy provider to pay down the debt he currently owes. I mean, that's the cost associated with running a business, guys, with all of these interventions, everyone. So that's the businesses struggling for their power and the gas. But we've got to remember, insolvencies are expected to rise, guys. They're expected to rise. Companies entering external administration, it is, well, we're at half where we should be. Even if we get back to this level here, that's a bit of a jump up. We're going to see companies defaulting. We're going to see more power disconnections. We're going to see more of an impact on the economy. It may not be instant. It may be, some are saying over 12 months. Because remember, they've had people trading while insolvent. So how many people have been kicking the can down the road? This guy's got a payment plan for his power. How many other businesses are going to be there? And the question is, have our habits changed so it's not all going to spring back to normal? You've got companies entering external administration, like I've said. This is showing you how many and where it's at as a percentage of average. So it's starting to creep back up. Now, growing government debt. This is what we need to be aware of. Everyone's talking about all this intervention, all the money that's been spent, all the JobKeeper. There are more calls. There'll be calls for it to come back. They definitely will be with the new election. But remember, just remember this. National net debt is forecast to rise, that's state and federal combined, to 1.29 trillion, 59% of GDP in 23-24. That is work. That is work time and energy that we have to do, that our children have to do, and our children's children will have to do. That's all this is. This is future time you are spending and your offspring are going to spend working for the state because of this government debt. We can't forget that. 1.2, let's just say 1.3 trillion bucks, guys. But don't worry, the interest rate is low. Will they ever be able to push up the rates, guys? At this, it's just crazy. So the solutions, everyone. Well, we need to understand that there is a debt for future generations and they're going to bear it from this. There is an ongoing price that has resulted from this intervention in the economy. And the question is, was it worth it? That's what needs to be asked in public. There needs to be a debate about these things, because I'm concerned there's going to be future calls for more lockdowns and interventions that's going to have even more drastic ramifications. As always, thank you all for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one in the comments down below. If you're a fan and you want to support the content I create here, there are a few ways you can support us. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can support us using our affiliate links on Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. You can buy our merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, have a great day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.